we're against that. So in any event, I have for decades, been trying to convey to the American people and my constituents and people that I come in contact with that when the Republicans talk about abortion and the rest, they're just not talking about that. They're talking about contraception. More than you ever want to know on the subject, but decades ago, in the 90s, when I was ranking member on Foreign Ops, the Catholic Church came to me and said, can you make an adjustment in the Foreign Assistance Bill so that we can have more freely flowing funds for natural family planning? The church was asking for that. I went to my Republican colleagues. I said, at long last, we're going to be able to vote together on family planning. This is what the priests have asked us, the church has asked us, just to make a technical change in the language so that the lawyers will approve the flow of the funds for natural family planning, which is allowed, was allowed in our foreign assistance. You don't understand, they say to me. We are against all family planning, domestic and internationally. I had got one Republican vote which enabled us to include natural family planning in the legislation. Can you believe that? So when I tell my Republican friends, and I do have some, they're about contraception, family planning, birth control. Oh, I don't believe it. Well, don't take it from me. Take it from the Republicans. This is part of their agenda, which is really hard to defend for them and hard to explain for us. But again, we will remember in November. Any questions? Yes, ma'am. You got it.
On police funding, some members reportedly want to see a packet of bills brought to a vote before you go to August recess. Do you support that?
Well, we're reviewing and we're on a path. I think we're on a good path, and we'll have a number of bills. There are a wide array of bills, but we've met on some of them. We're checking them out with the committees, and I think we'll have a good package.
Before the recess?
Well, we'll see. We have such a flurry of activity. It would be our plan to do so. Of course, a lot depends on when we get the CHIPS bill. A lot depends on what will happen with reconciliation, how soon we can get that before the recess. But it is hoped and in the plan that we could do some of that then. Yes, sir.
Madam Speaker, the President said yesterday the U.S. military does not think it's a good idea for you to visit Taiwan. You visited Ukraine, obviously. That was important to show U.S. support. Would such a concern on the part of the U.S. military deter you from going?
I don't ever discuss my travel plans. It's a security issue. You never even hear me say if I'm going to London, because it is a security issue. And so I won't be discussing that now.
What is the most important thing that we can do to deter China from attacking Taiwan?
That is a very major issue. And it is, if you were going to have a discussion about that, I think that it's important for us to show support for Taiwan. I also think that none of us has ever said we're for independence when it comes to Taiwan. That's up to Taiwan to decide. But if the inference to draw on from your comment is that my going there is problematic, I think what the president was saying is maybe the military was afraid our plane would get shot down or something like that by the Chinese. I don't know exactly. I didn't see it. I didn't hear it. You're telling me, and I've heard it anecdotally, but I haven't heard it from the president.
Madam Speaker. President Putin traveled to Iran yesterday, and he met with Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. In that meeting, Ayatollah Khamenei told him his invasion of Ukraine is justified, and he accused the West and the United States to plot to invade Crimea if hadn't he invaded Ukraine. What do you make of Ayatollah Khamenei's comment to Putin and Putin's travel to Tehran in general?
What did you end it with?
What do you make of Ayatollah Khamenei's comments when he said that Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine is justified?
Right.
And what do you make of the Iranian-Russian alliance now? Do you think?
Okay, that's it. Well, let me just say that the Russian invasion of Ukraine is a violation of the borders of Ukraine. It is so wrong, and the world has reacted generally to it. Tyrants find their friends, and there's no surprise in any of that. But I don't think anybody has ever accused or recognized the Khomeini in Iran as a respecter of boundaries, respecter of people. And in terms of Russia, Crimea, I don't think was reacted to strongly enough when they invaded Crimea. I'm very proud of the American people and the support that they have for the people of Ukraine who are fighting for their democracy, for their country, for their territorial boundaries. And to me, it's practically irrelevant what the Khomeini says, but what is relevant is the weapons that he may supply Russia with. So it's tyrant to tyrant. Doesn't matter what any of us think. It's what they will do. But it's most unfortunate. And it's particularly unfortunate because it wasn't that long ago when Russia was part of the agreement for the nuclear agreement. And now some of that has changed. I don't know what impact that may have. But Russia knows full well the capability of Iran. China knows full well the capability of Iran to go forward with a nuclear weapon. They know because they've supplied them with much of the material, the technology, the scientists, the delivery system. There are four things for a nuclear program: technology, science to put it together, delivery system to deliver it, intent. The only thing that is truly indigenous to Iran in that regard is intent. And that's why China and Russia were so cooperative in stopping Iran from proceeding with a nuclear weapon. Now the geopolitical dynamic has changed, and we'll see. But it really doesn't matter what the rest of us think about what Khomeini is cooperating with Russia on. The fact is, should come as no surprise.
Madam Speaker, you spoke about the demoralizing.
Any more women? Yes, ma'am.
On the president's COVID diagnosis, do you think this should change how seriously the American people are taking this latest variant? And also, on the Ukrainian First Lady's address yesterday, are you aware of any further conversations in Congress about further humanitarian or military aid packages? Could you shed some light on the prospects
Well,
of that?
two questions. One about COVID, and anything that affects the president has an impact in our country. It's more well-known, shall we say. So let's hope that it would encourage people to be tested, to have the vaccines, the boosters, and the rest. This is I don't know exactly which assault has been made on the president in terms of, but what is happening now is rampant, but it is not as and having such a negative impact on people's health. Let's hope that that continues to be the case, but we don't know. So I don't know enough about how the president has been diagnosed to make any informed decision about that. But let people know that none of us is immune from it, including the President of the United States, and we really have to be careful. In terms of First Lady Zelenska's visit yesterday, she was really beautifully received in a bipartisan, bicameral way, a real statement of support for Ukraine. I don't think anybody thinks that our support for Ukraine has been exhausted. Yes, sir.
Madam Speaker.
Over the course of your career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information he's received from you?
What are you saying?
Over the course of your career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information he's received from you?
No, absolutely not. Okay.
The demoralizing of Ukraine.
Sorry, no worries.